Hey team, this is Nathan from RunDreamAchieve.com. Hope you're all doing well. Today's topic, I wanted to go over how long should you recover after a marathon. And I'm definitely making this video because I get asked this quite often from athletes that are either planning on running their first marathon or have run a marathon or about to run a marathon. And they ask me, how much time should I take off after I participate in my race? It's going to be different for everybody. Usually after the marathons that I've run in the past, I had no issues whatsoever taking a minimum of a week off. There were other times I would take up to 2 weeks off where I would do nothing but rest and recover. I took that time to just enjoy myself, make sure that one, after the race was over, I was getting, a couple massages the week after that race, so that obviously physiologically I could recover from that hard effort. Taking some Epsom salt baths and just relaxing and giving yourself time to decompress from all those months of training that you put in, and just get away from the sport, because we all need that. Even if you're, you love the sport, whether you're a middle distance runner or long distance runner, training for a marathon takes so much time, so much energy. And if you don't back off and if you don't give yourself that time to relax, it's very easy to get still. It's very easy to start stressing out. You start worrying about, just getting back into the routine of getting ready for your next race. If you do that too quickly, I don't know. I think, everybody's different, but it takes some of the enjoyment of the sport in itself out of what you're doing. You have to give yourself some time. So everybody's different. Some people take a few days off, or there's others that'll take like a month off and just relax and do nothing. But I do think that giving yourself at least a week off, and when I'm talking a week off, I'm saying no other jogging, no other running, just complete time away from the sport. I think that's good. But also, it's okay too if you want to, take two to 3 days off after your marathon and start jogging easy, a few days after you run your race, just to shake your legs out a little bit. That's okay too. There are some athletes that will run a marathon and the next day might go out and just jog a couple minutes just to get that, flush out that lactic acid, and just keep your body moving a little bit. I don't think necessarily that doing, jogging for a few minutes the day after or a couple days after the marathon is necessarily a bad thing. But just don't go out there and going out and running 5 to 10 miles the day after you run a marathon, and I guess, and again, when I say this, when I talk about, what's the proper amount of time you need to take after a marathon, again, it's going to be individual. So just monitor what your body's telling you. There's so many physiological issues that go on after a marathon. There's micro tears throughout the body. There's a lot of inflammation, because you stressed yourself so much. So it's very important that you're paying attention to recovery, hydrating very well, especially before, during, and especially after your marathon. But, again, it's okay to take a few days off, preferably take a couple weeks off and enjoy yourself, because you're going to spend so much time prepping for your races that if you don't allot some time away from the sport to just relax and to repair, allow your body to repair from that hard effort, again, it's going to be a very hard process. Marathoning does take a great deal of time and effort. And it's not like the 5K or 10K where you can run several races and just get back into training and get back out and run another 5K or 10K, the following week. Marathons are different. There's some athletes that are, for me personally, running 2 marathons a year was about it for me. There's some athletes out there running marathons just about every other week. Some run them every month. And again, if you're really trying to run a fast marathon and you're trying to set a new personal best, it takes anywhere from 3 to 4 months to really prepare properly. You know, I was just watching a documentary on Eliud Kipchoge, the world record holder for the marathon, and he was saying it takes him normally about 5 months to prepare, 5 to 6 months to prepare for his races, you know, and he just won the Tokyo Marathon in 2 hours, 2 minutes and 40 seconds this past weekend. If you hadn't watched it, definitely go back and check out the 2022 Tokyo Marathon. And again, you have to have a long-term mindset to prepare properly for the marathon, especially if you're trying to run a new personal best. You know, there's a lot of athletes that are new to the sport. They're trying to train for their first marathon. So be patient with yourself as you're preparing for your races. Look at the resources that are on RunDreamAchieve.com. Go back and watch the other videos that I've made. Obviously, there's a lot of free content that I have on RunDreamAchieve.com as well. You know, here on the video on the RunDreamAchieve YouTube channel. But I do have a lot of resources that I've created to help athletes that are trained for the marathon or 5K or the mile, all the distances from the mile all the way up to the 50K distance. And so those resources will speed up your learning curve. It's so much easier to have a plan in place when you know what you need to be doing on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis, rather than just guessing what you need to be doing and not knowing the purpose of your workouts and why you're doing them. So, you know, that's kind of why I went into the running courses are very in-depth. They're you know, I created tutorial videos in those courses where we cover several specific areas of training for races, preparing for races mentally as well as physically, heart rate monitor training, nutrition, mindset. We cover specific topics of like tempo running, anaerobic threshold training, VO2 max workouts, and several other factors. So definitely check those out as well. But when I think about the marathons that I've run, I had no issue whatsoever taking time away from the sport, because I was so in depth and so focused when I was in my training phases for my races, whether they were 5K, 10K, half marathon, all the way up to marathon distance. You know, it was so serious, you know, because you want to be great at what you do. So in order to be great in the sport and run a great marathon time, you also have to focus on recovery. You have to focus on rest and making sure that you're giving yourself some downtime away from the sport. Because again, once you jump back into training, it's all business again. You know, and granted, you still can have fun even when you're in high training. You have to maintain a sense of humor through all this. You know, it takes, like I said, it takes a lot of time and effort on your part. So if you're going to be putting in all this effort, it's best to use leverage, and it's best to invest in yourself. Make sure that you are getting the results, and you're getting, you know, all the hard work that you're putting in. You're seeing the fruits of your labor. You know, there's a lot of athletes out there that are working extremely hard that still don't get the times and don't reach the goals that they want. And then there's athletes out there that are working much less. You know, maybe they're running 40 miles a week and they're hitting personal best, and they're running times that athletes that are running 100 to 110 miles a week are trying to run. You know, you have to look at that, you know, because it's not just about training hard and running a high amount of volume just for volume's sake, and to say, hey, I'm out running 90 miles a week. Okay, well, are you getting the results that you're wanting? Are you taking time away? Are you allowing enough time to recover after your marathons or after your 5Ks and 10Ks? What are you doing the other hours of your day? You know, it's not just about the workouts that you do on the track or on the roads. You know, those are extremely important, but it's those other variables. It's the mental preparation. It's the hydration before, during, and after your workouts. It's your nutrition. It's your rest. How much sleep are you getting at night? Are you staying up super late and then getting up the next day? And, you know, it's always best to look at that. Study what the best middle to long distance runners are doing and emulate them. Be yourself, but find out what they're doing. How do they think, and what do they do to get the results they're getting, and duplicate their work habits. That's the key. That's what I did too, to you know, to start off running the mile as a high school freshman in 5 minutes and 30 seconds, to later run 26.2 miles at 5 minutes and 19 seconds per mile. Okay, it took several years, but it was all of these factors that went into getting to a point where I could run a marathon in 2 hours, 19 minutes. So think about these things. Make sure that you're giving yourself sufficient time after your marathons. But that's my answer. Preferably a week to 2 weeks completely off. If you need to go out and jog just to shake your legs out, for a few minutes the couple days after the marathon, that's okay. But make sure that you're paying attention to hydrating very well and getting massages, especially the few days after a marathon. It's very important because you're gonna be so tight. There's gonna be a lot of inflammation. So get some light massage the days after your marathon, and I think you'll really do great in terms of your recovery and getting ready for your future races. So I hope this video is helpful for you. Check out the resources below this video in the description. Give me a like. I'd really appreciate it. It helps the channel grow and more athletes around the world to see my videos. And again, I really appreciate all of your support. Whether you watch a portion of these videos or all from start to finish, it really helps. It helps me as well. So I really appreciate you all coming to my channel, and I hope that future videos that I make and the videos that I've made in the past will help you get the results that you're looking for. So I will talk to you all in the next video.